The massive space station turned slowly against the black sky. Nexus Station was bigger than most cities on Earth. Its metal halls stretched for miles in every direction. Ships from dozens of worlds docked at its ports every day. Today, those ships belonged to the Galactic Council. Admiral Jinwoo Park walked down the long corridor toward the meeting room. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Behind him, Captain Myung Lee matched his pace. She had been his friend for 20 years. Today her face looked tired and angry. "They want more," she said quietly. "The reports came in this morning. Now they want our mining rights on Kepler 186F2. Jinwoo nodded but did not speak. For 6 months he had sat in that meeting room. For 6 months he had listened to alien voices make demands. Each week those demands grew bigger. Each week the aliens smiled more. Ambassador Dong-Yun Kim was already in the meeting room when they arrived. He stood by the large window that looked out into space. His formal diplomatic clothes were perfect, but his hands shook slightly. Jinwoo had known Dong-Yun since they were young officers. The man never showed fear, but today was different. "How bad is it?" Jinwoo asked. Dong-Yun turned away from the window. His face was pale. "Read it yourself," he said, handing over a datapad. Jinwoo read the new demands. His jaw tightened. Myung looked over his shoulder and cursed under her breath. The Galactic Council now wanted humans to give up 80% of their colonies. They wanted humans to destroy most of their military ships. They wanted humans to accept protective oversight from Council forces. "Protective oversight," Myung repeated. "They mean occupation." "It gets worse," Dong-Hyun said. "Keep reading." Jinwoo scrolled down. His eyes widened. The Council wanted human children. They claimed human children needed proper galactic education to prevent future aggressive behavior. The children would be taken from their families and raised on Council worlds. "They want our children," Jinwoo said slowly. 5,000 children per year, Dong-Hyun replied, "starting with ages 6 through 12. The meeting room doors opened with a soft hiss. Alien delegates began entering the room. There were 13 different species represented on the Galactic Council. The Valkyrians were the largest and most powerful. Their leader, Speaker Thalin the Magnificent, stood 8 feet tall with purple skin and 4 arms. His golden robes swept the floor as he walked. The other aliens followed behind him. The insect-like Skrith clicked their mandibles as they moved. The gaseous Nethrons floated in their containment suits. The reptilian Korthax hissed quietly to each other. All of them looked pleased with themselves. "Humans," Speaker Thalin said, in his booming voice. "We trust you have considered our generous terms." Generous. Jinwoo almost laughed. The aliens called demands for surrender generous terms. "We have read your proposal," Ambassador Dong-Yun said carefully. His diplomatic training kept his voice steady. "Excellent," Thalin replied. "Then you understand the wisdom of accepting Council protection. Your species has shown concerning aggressive tendencies. The recent incident at Tau Ceti proves this." The Tau Ceti incident. 3 months ago, human colonists had fought back when Skrith raiders attacked their settlement. The humans had won, driving off the raiders and capturing their ships. The Council called this unprovoked aggression. "Our people defended themselves," Myung said. "The Skrith attacked first." A Skrith delegate clicked angrily. "The colony was in disputed space. Humans had no right to be there." "Disputed by whom?" Jinwoo asked. "We filed proper colonization claims 50 years ago." "Claims not recognized by the Council," Thalin said dismissively. "This proves our point. Humans do not understand galactic law. You need our guidance." "Das die." Meeting continued for 2 hours. The aliens repeated their demands over and over. They spoke about human aggression. They talked about the need for galactic peace. They made it sound like they were doing humans a favor by taking their worlds and children. Jinwoo watched their faces. The aliens were enjoying this. They thought they had already won. They thought humans were weak because humans had come to these talks instead of fighting. The child education program is especially important, a Nethran delegate said through its translation device. Young humans show the most dangerous tendencies. Early intervention is necessary. Intervention, Dongyun repeated quietly. Of course, Thalen said. Human children raised on council worlds will learn proper behavior. They will understand their place in galactic society. This benefits everyone. Their place. Jinwu understood now. The council did not want peace. They wanted slaves. They wanted humans to kneel and accept whatever the council decided to give them. These terms are not negotiable, Thalen continued. The council has been patient with your species. That patience has limits. Patient, Miyung said. Her voice was getting louder. You call this patient? Captain, Dongyun warned. But Miyung was angry now. You attack our colonies. You steal our trade routes. You demand our worlds, our ships, our children, and you call it patience? The aliens looked amused. A Korthax delegate hissed something. That sounded like laughter. Humans always react with emotion, it said. This proves you need our guidance. Thalen raised one of his 4 hands. The debate is over. You have 72 hours to accept these terms. If you refuse, the Council will take action to protect galactic peace. What kind of action? Jinwu asked. Thalen smiled. His teeth were sharp and white. The kind that ensures compliance. The threat was clear. Accept surrender or face war. Jinwu looked at his companions. Dongyun's hands were clenched into fists. Miyung's face was red with anger. Both of them were waiting for his decision. For 6 months, Jinwu had hoped for real peace talks. He had believed that reasonable beings could find reasonable solutions. He had been wrong. The aliens did not want peace. They wanted conquest. Jinwu stood up slowly. The alien delegates watched him with satisfaction. They thought he was going to surrender. They thought humans were too weak to fight back. No, Jinwu said quietly. No? Thalen repeated. What do you mean, no? I mean, we reject your terms. All of them. The room went silent. The aliens stared at him in surprise. They had not expected this answer. You cannot reject our terms, Thalen said. You have no choice. Jinwu walked toward the door. Miyung and Donghyun followed him. We always have a choice, he said without looking back. If you leave now, there will be consequences, Thalen called after them. Jinwu stopped at the door and turned around. His voice was calm, but his eyes were cold. There already are consequences. You just don't know it yet. The 3 humans left the meeting room. Behind them, the alien delegates began talking excitedly among themselves. They thought they had won. They thought humans were running away in fear. They would learn soon enough how wrong they were. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. On every council world, alien leaders celebrated. The humans had walked away from the peace talks. To the aliens, this meant only one thing. Humans were giving up. Speaker Thalen the Magnificent stood in the great council chamber on Velkara Prime. Around him, representatives from 13 species cheered and clicked and hissed with joy. The massive room echoed with the sounds of victory. The humans have shown their true nature, Thalen announced to the gathered crowd. They are cowards who run when faced with superior power. A Skrith commander clicked its mandibles excitedly. Their colonies will be easy to take. We can harvest their technology and resources. The mining worlds will be most valuable, added a Korthax general. Human extraction methods are crude but effective. The aliens began dividing human territory among themselves. They drew new maps and made new plans. The Velkarians would take the core human worlds. The Skrith wanted the industrial planets. The Korthax claimed the mining systems. Everyone wanted a piece of what they thought would be an easy victory. Meanwhile, something strange was happening in human space. On colony after colony, evacuation ships appeared without warning. Human families packed their belongings quickly and left their homes. Trade ships stopped coming to alien ports. Diplomatic messages went unanswered. Dr. Suman Choi worked day and night in her secret laboratory on Europa. She was one of humanity's top scientists, but the aliens had never heard of her. That was intentional. For years, she had been developing weapons and technology that the galaxy had never seen. Protocol Exodus is active, she reported to her team. All research materials are being moved to secure locations. Her assistant, a young engineer named Jehoon, looked worried. Dr. Choi, are we really going to war with the entire galaxy? Suman looked up from her computer screens. Her eyes were tired but determined. They made that choice for us. We're just going to finish it. In another part of human space, Colonel Taehyun Yu coordinated with resistance cells on occupied worlds. These were humans who had been living under alien rule for years, pretending to be helpless while gathering information and preparing for this day. All cells report ready, came a message from New Harmony, a world the Skrith had conquered 5 years ago. We have locations of all major military installations. Tau Ceti Cell confirms weapon caches are intact, reported another message. Awaiting. Orders. Taehyun smiled grimly. The aliens thought they knew everything about human capabilities. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Engineer Hyejin Nam supervised the deployment of humanity's most secret weapons. These were systems that had been built in hidden shipyards, far from alien eyes. For decades, humans had been preparing for this day while pretending to be peaceful traders and explorers. The orbital platforms are in position, she reported to Admiral Jinwoo Park. All stealth systems are active. What about the new ships? Jinwoo asked. Ready for deployment. The aliens have never seen anything like them. The Galactic Council, meanwhile, grew more confident with each passing day. Human colonies were emptying, which the aliens saw as surrender. Human trade ships had disappeared, which they thought meant economic collapse. Human ambassadors were nowhere to be found, which they believed showed fear. Send them another ultimatum, Thalen ordered. Tell them they have 15 days to surrender completely, or we will take their worlds by force. The message was broadcast across human space. It demanded total surrender within 15 days. It promised mercy for those who cooperated and destruction for those who resisted. It was signed by all 13 species of the Galactic Council. No answer came back. They are too afraid to respond, laughed a Nethran commander. This will be easier than we thought. The aliens began moving their fleets. Thousands of warships from dozens of worlds started heading toward human space. It was the largest military force the galaxy had ever assembled. The aliens called it the Unity Fleet because it brought together all the Council species for one purpose, conquering humanity. But something was watching that fleet. Hidden in the empty space between stars, tiny human observation ships recorded everything. These ships were so small and quiet that alien sensors could not detect them. They counted every vessel, identified every weapon, and sent all the information back to Human Command. Commander Seojin Han led the Stealth Reconnaissance Division. His ships had been watching alien military movements for years without being discovered. Now, that patient observation was about to pay off. They have 11,437 warships, he reported. Mostly older designs, with predictable weapons and shields. Any surprises? Asked Fleet Admiral Jiho Song from his hidden command center. Nothing we haven't planned for. They're using standard formation patterns from their old manual. No creativity. Intelligence Officer Yunbi Park had spent years infiltrating alien communication networks. She had been reading their messages, watching their plans, and learning their weaknesses. The aliens thought their communications were secure. They were wrong. They plan to attack Sol System first, she reported. They want to capture Earth and force humanity to surrender. Let them come, Admiral Song replied. We'll be ready. The aliens continued their preparations. They built supply bases and staging areas. They practiced battle formations and tested their weapons. They made speeches about galactic peace and human aggression. They were very confident. On the Council worlds, alien citizens watched news reports about the coming war. The reports showed massive fleets preparing for battle. They interviewed military commanders who promised quick victory. Everyone agreed that humans would be defeated within days. Humans are primitives, declared a Velcarian general on the news. Their technology is centuries behind ours. This will not be a war. It will be an extermination of pests, a Skrith admiral agreed. We have fought humans before. They break easily when faced with real military power. But some aliens were not so confident. On the Outer Rim worlds, old traders who had dealt with humans for years shook their heads at the news. Something is wrong, an elderly Korthax merchant told his friends. Humans do not run from fights. They are planning something. His friends laughed at him. You have been in space too long, old one. The Council fleet is unstoppable. The merchant was not convinced. He had seen humans fight before. He remembered the Tau Ceti incident and other small conflicts. Humans did not fight like other species. They were patient and clever and much stronger than they appeared. As the alien fleets moved closer to human space, more strange things began happening. Human ships that had been trading in alien ports for years suddenly vanished. Human settlements that had existed for decades were found empty, with no signs of struggle or hasty departure. It was as if millions of humans had simply disappeared. They are hiding, Thailand told the Council. When we arrive, they will beg for mercy. The Unity fleet was now only days away from Sol System. Alien commanders made final preparations for what they expected to be an easy victory. They allocated ships for occupation duty and made lists of human facilities to capture intact. But in the darkness between the stars, humanity was preparing its own surprise. Ships that had never been seen by alien eyes were moving into position. Weapons that had been secretly developed for decades were being charged and aimed. Soldiers who had trained in secret were taking their battle stations. The aliens thought they were hunting sheep. They were about to discover they had cornered wolves. 3 weeks passed in complete silence. The massive alien fleet moved through space like a slow river of metal and death. 11,000 ships from 13 different worlds, all heading towards Sol System. Their commanders were excited. Victory seemed certain. Speaker Thalen the Magnificent stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's Pride. Through the large viewing window, he could see hundreds of other ships traveling alongside his vessel. The sight filled him with satisfaction. How much longer until we reach the human home system? He asked his navigation officer. 6 days, Speaker, came the reply. Our scouts report no resistance along the route. Thalen smiled. The humans were not even trying to fight. They had abandoned their border worlds without firing a single shot. Every human settlement the fleet had passed was empty and dark. It proved what he had always believed. Humans were cowards. But the empty settlements puzzled some of the alien commanders. Admiral Krex of the Korthax Navy studied the reports from their advanced scouts. Something felt wrong to him. The humans, left too cleanly, he told his staff officers. No signs of panic, no belongings left behind, no damage to facilities. A young Korthax officer hissed softly. Perhaps they are more organized than we thought, Admiral. Or more prepared, Krex replied quietly. Meanwhile, in the dark spaces between stars, Commander Seojin Han watched the alien fleet through his advanced sensors. His stealth ship was invisible to alien detection systems. It had been following the Unity fleet for weeks, recording everything. They are maintaining standard formation Delta 7, he reported to Fleet Admiral Jiho Song. No variations, no surprises. They are following their training manual exactly. Admiral Song sat in his hidden command center deep inside an asteroid field. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of every alien ship. The information came from dozens of stealth reconnaissance vessels like Seojun's. Predictable, Song said with satisfaction. Just like our simulations predicted? Intelligence Officer Yunbi Park had been listening to alien communications for days. The enemy commanders were not being careful with their messages. They thought they were safe from human ears. They planned to split their force when they reach Sol system, she reported. Main fleet will attack Earth directly. Secondary forces will capture Mars and the outer planets. What about their reserves? Asked Song. Staying in the outer system as backup. They expect minimal resistance. Song nodded. The aliens were making exactly the mistakes that human strategists had hoped for. They were dividing their forces. They were underestimating their enemy. They were walking into a trap that had been years in the making. On Earth, final preparations were being completed. Dr. Suman Choi worked in her underground laboratory, making last-minute adjustments to weapon systems that the galaxy had never seen. The gravity manipulation arrays are online, she reported to her team. All power cores are stable. Her assistant Ji-hoon checked the readings on his console. The antimatter warheads are ready for deployment. Each one has enough power to destroy a small moon. And the dimensional phase cannons? Charged and ready. The aliens won't know what hit them. Above Earth's surface, normal life continued. People went to work and school. Children played in parks. But hidden beneath the planet's crust, massive weapon systems waited in silence. Orbital platforms that looked like space debris were actually the most advanced military technology humans had ever built. Colonel Tae-hyun Yu coordinated with resistance cells throughout the galaxy, on worlds that aliens thought they controlled. Human fighters prepared for their moment. New Harmony cell reports ready, came a message from the Skrith-occupied planet. We have identified all alien military targets. Tau Ceti is prepared, reported another cell. Local alien garrison suspects nothing. Tai-hyun smiled grimly. The aliens had conquered human worlds, but they had never truly controlled them. Human. Resistance fighters had been planning and preparing for years, waiting for this moment. The Unity fleet was now only 3 days from Sol system. Alien commanders held final briefing sessions. They discussed how to divide Earth's resources among themselves. They made plans for occupying human cities. They talked about which humans to keep as slaves and which to eliminate. Remember, Thalen told his officers, we want their technology intact. Human computers and manufacturing systems will be valuable. A Skrith commander clicked agreement. Their food production methods are also efficient. We should preserve their agricultural centers. The aliens saw humans as resources to be harvested, not people to be defeated. This attitude would cost them dearly. Meanwhile, Fleet Admiral Song reviewed the final battle plans with his commanders. Captain Young-ho Kang commanded the experimental ship Sol's Fury, equipped with weapons that could bend space itself. Pilot Jisoo Min led an elite fighter squadron with ships faster than anything aliens had ever encountered. Weapons Officer Kyung-soo Lim controlled the orbital defense platforms around Earth. Remember the plan, Song told them. We let them think they are winning. We let them get close. Then we show them what humans can really do. The hidden human fleet was massive, while aliens thought humans had only a few hundred ships. The truth was very different. Secret shipyards had been building vessels for decades. Hidden bases throughout the solar system held thousands of advanced warships. But the most important part of the human strategy was patience. For years, humans had appeared weak while secretly growing strong. They had traded with aliens while studying their technology. They had signed peace treaties while preparing for war. They had smiled and negotiated while building the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. 2 days before the alien fleet reached Sol system, engineer Hyejin Nam completed the final system checks on humanity's secret weapons. The orbital platforms were online. The hidden fleet was in position. The resistance cells were ready to strike. "All systems report green," she told Admiral Song. "We are ready for whatever they bring." "How many ships do we have available?" Song asked. "Including the reserves?" 2,743 combat vessels, plus support ships and automated platforms. The aliens thought they outnumbered humans 4-1. In reality, they were outnumbered almost 3-1 by ships far more advanced than anything they possessed. On the final day before battle, Commander Seojun Han's stealth ship sent its last reconnaissance report. The alien fleet was entering Sol's system in perfect formation, exactly as human strategists had predicted. "They are coming in fast and confident," Seojun reported. "No scouts ahead, no defensive formations. They expect no resistance." Admiral Song looked at the tactical display showing alien ship positions. After months of watching and waiting, the moment had finally arrived. "Signal all units," he ordered. "Operation Silent Storm begins now. Show them only what they expect to see. Let them think they are winning." In space around Earth, a small group of human ships moved into view. They looked old and outdated compared to the massive alien fleet approaching. There were maybe 200 vessels, arranged in what appeared to be a desperate last stand. The alien commanders saw exactly what they expected: a weak human defense that would crumble quickly. They had no idea they were looking at the smallest part of humanity's true military power. The trap was set. The aliens were walking into it willingly. Soon they would learn what happened when you mistook human mercy for human weakness. The alien fleet entered Sol's system like a storm of metal and death. 11,000 warships spread across space in perfect formation. Their weapons were charged and ready. Their commanders were confident. Victory seemed certain. Speaker Thalen, the Magnificent, stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the small human defense force through his viewing screen. 200 ships hung in space near Earth, looking old and desperate. He laughed at the sight. "Is this all they can manage?" he asked his officers. 200 ancient vessels against our mighty fleet?" A Velcarian commander checked his sensors. "Confirmed, Speaker. We detect only 203 human ships. Their weapons are primitive plasma cannons and missile systems." "Pathetic," Thalen replied. "Signal the fleet. We attack in 1 hour. This will be over quickly." But Admiral Krex of the Korthax Navy felt uneasy. Something about the human formation bothered him. The ships were positioned too perfectly, as if they were waiting for something. "Run deep scans on those human vessels," he ordered his sensor officer. "Sir, our scans show standard human technology." "Nothing unusual," Krex hissed softly. His instincts told him this was wrong, but he could not explain why. Meanwhile, on the human ship Sol's Fury, Captain Young-Ho Kang watched the approaching alien fleet through his advanced sensors. His ship looked like an old cargo vessel from the outside, but inside it contained technology the aliens could not imagine. "All systems ready, Captain," reported his weapons officer. "The gravity manipulation array is online." "Good," Young-Ho replied calmly. "Remember, we wait for Admiral Song's signal. Let them get close." Throughout the small human fleet, similar conversations were taking place. These ships were not the desperate last stand they appeared to be. They were advanced warships disguised as obsolete vessels crewed by humanity's best officers and equipped with secret weapons. Pilot Jisoo Min sat in her fighter craft, hidden inside what looked like a damaged transport ship. Around her, 50 other pilots waited in their advanced fighters. Their ships were invisible to alien sensors, completely undetectable until they chose to reveal themselves. "This is Eagle Leader," she said quietly into her communication system. "All birds are ready to fly." "Copy, Eagle Leader," came Admiral Song's voice. "Wait for the signal." The alien fleet moved closer to Earth. Their commanders were already planning victory celebrations. They divided human territory among themselves and discussed which human cities to occupy first. "I want the human capital city intact," Thalen announced. "Their leaders will surrender publicly to show the galaxy that resistance is useless." The aliens had no idea they were being watched by thousands of hidden sensors. Every move they made was recorded and analyzed. Human commanders knew exactly where each alien ship was positioned and what weapons it carried. Weapons Officer Kyung-soo. Lim sat deep underground in a command bunker beneath Earth's surface. His console controlled orbital defense platforms that looked like space debris to alien eyes. Each platform carried enough firepower to destroy a dozen alien ships. "Platforms Alpha through Zeta report ready," he announced. "All antimatter charges are armed." "Hold position," ordered Admiral Song from his hidden command center. "Let them come closer." The alien fleet was now within firing range of Earth. Their front ships began charging their weapons. Alien commanders gave final orders to their crews. The moment of attack had arrived. Then Admiral Song gave the signal that changed everything. "All units, this is command. Execute Operation Silent Storm. Show them who we really are." What happened next shocked the alien fleet beyond belief. The space around Earth suddenly filled with human ships that had not been there moments before. Not dozens or hundreds, but thousands of vessels appeared as if from nowhere. The 200 human ships revealed their true nature. Advanced stealth systems deactivated, showing sleek warships armed with weapons the aliens had never seen. The damaged transports opened their cargo bays, releasing swarms of fighter craft that moved faster than alien sensors could track. "Impossible!" Thalen shouted on his bridge. "Where did they come from?" His sensor officer's voice was shaking. "Speaker, I count over 2,000 human ships. They were hidden somehow. Our sensors never detected them, but the real shock came when the human ships began firing. Captain Young-Ho Kang's Soul's Fury targeted a massive Valkyrian battleship. The gravity manipulation array activated, creating a localized space distortion around the alien vessel. The Valkyrian battleship, which weighed millions of tons, was crushed like a tin can. Its hull crumpled in seconds as artificial gravity compressed it into a ball of twisted metal. The crew never had time to scream. "By the void," whispered Admiral Krex as he watched the impossible sight. "What kind of weapons are those?" Pilot Jisoo Min led her fighter squadron in a devastating attack on alien support ships. Her fighters moved through space at speeds that should have been impossible, dodging alien weapons fire with ease. Their small size made them hard targets, but their weapons could punch through the heaviest alien armor. "Eagle Squadron, target the Skrith carriers," she ordered. "Remove their fighter support." Her pilots responded with deadly efficiency. Advanced human fighters swarmed over alien ships like angry insects, their weapons carving through hulls and destroying vital systems. Within minutes, half the alien fighter fleet was gone. Weapons Officer Kyung-soo Lim activated the orbital defense platforms. What had looked like floating debris suddenly revealed massive cannon arrays. Beams of directed antimatter lanced out from the platforms, each shot capable of vaporizing an entire alien cruiser. "Platform 7 has target lock on Korthak's dreadnought," he reported. "Firing." The antimatter beam struck the alien ship dead center. For a moment, the massive vessel seemed to freeze in space. Then it simply disappeared in a flash of pure energy, leaving nothing behind but glowing particles. The alien fleet was in chaos. Ships that had been advancing confidently moments before now tried desperately to retreat. But they were surrounded by human vessels that were faster, more heavily armed, and far more advanced than anything the aliens possessed. "All ships, retreat," Thalen ordered. "Fall back to defensive positions." But there were no safe positions. Human ships seemed to be everywhere at once. They moved through space like deadly phantoms, appearing suddenly to destroy alien vessels and then vanishing before return fire could find them. Admiral Song watched the battle from his command center. With satisfaction, years of preparation were paying off. The alien fleet was being systematically destroyed by weapons and tactics they could not understand. "Status report," he requested. "Enemy fleet is down 40%, came the reply. "Our losses are minimal. 3 ships damaged, none destroyed." The battle that aliens expected to win easily had become a complete disaster for them. Their superior numbers meant nothing against human technology they could not match. Their battle, formations crumbled under attacks they could not predict or counter. Speaker Thailand the Magnificent found himself aboard a dying ship as human weapons tore his flagship apart. Emergency lights flashed red throughout the vessel. His crew was abandoning their posts in panic. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Humans are primitives!" His communication officer, bleeding from a head wound, looked up at him with terror in his eyes. "Speaker, we are receiving surrender demands from the human fleet." Surrender demands? Thalen could barely believe what he was hearing. "They want us to surrender?" "Yes, sir. They are offering safe passage to any ship that powers down weapons and submits to boarding." Around them, the great Velcarian flagship shuddered as human weapons continued their assault. Through the bridge windows, Thalen could see other alien ships exploding or surrendering. The mighty Unity fleet was being destroyed. For the first time in his life, Speaker Thalen the Magnificent knew fear. The news of the Unity fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On alien worlds throughout Council space, leaders watched in horror as reports came in. 11,000 ships had attacked Sol system. Less than 300 had escaped to tell the tale. President Heron Wu stood in the Human Coalition's Emergency Command Center on Earth. Around her, screens showed alien worlds in chaos. Some species were already sending surrender messages. Others were preparing their own fleets for desperate attacks. All of them were afraid. "The Skrith have requested immediate peace talks," reported her aide. "They are offering to return all human prisoners and occupied territories." "The Korthax are abandoning their forward bases," added another officer. "Their ships are retreating to their home systems." Heron nodded calmly. She had expected this. When predators revealed themselves, prey animals scattered. But some of the aliens would not give up so easily. General Minjae Shin commanded the human forces now moving throughout the galaxy. His ships were liberating worlds that had been under alien control for decades. But these were not conquest missions. They were rescue operations. "Status report from the Kepler 442 system," his communication officer announced. "The local population is celebrating. They have overthrown their Velcarian overseers." "Any resistance from alien forces?" Minjae asked. "Minimal. Most alien troops surrendered when our ships arrived. The few who fought were quickly defeated. This pattern repeated throughout the galaxy. As human fleets arrived at oppressed worlds, local populations rose up against their alien rulers. Species that had been enslaved for generations suddenly found themselves free, but not all aliens were enemies. On the planet Harmony 7th, Ambassador Suyung Jeon met with representatives from the Nethrani Commonwealth. Unlike the Council species, the Nethrani had always treated other species as equals. "We wish to join your new alliance," the Nethrani ambassador said through his translation device. "Our people believe in the same principles you fight for." "Freedom, equality, and mutual defense?" Suyung asked. "Yes. We have watched the Council's oppression for too long. It is time for change." Similar meetings were taking place throughout the galaxy. Species that had been forced to join the Galactic Council were eager to escape its control. Many wanted to join what humans were calling the Terran Accords. Meanwhile, on the few remaining Council worlds, panic reigned. The Velcarian Empire was collapsing as human fleets systematically destroyed their military bases. The Skrith were abandoning their colonies and fleeing to their home systems. Even the mighty Korthax navy was retreating in fear. Speaker Thalen the Magnificent was no longer so magnificent. He sat in a prison cell on a human ship, awaiting trial for crimes against sentient beings. His empire was gone. His fleet was destroyed. His dreams of conquest had become nightmares of defeat. Admiral Jinwoo Park visited him in his cell. The human officer looked tired but satisfied. The peace talks that had failed months ago seemed like ancient history now. "Why?" Thalen asked weakly. "Why did you hide your true power for so long?" Jinwoo sat down across from the former speaker. "Because we hoped we would never need to use it. But you were so strong. You could have conquered the galaxy years ago." "Conquest was never our goal," Jinwoo replied. "We wanted peace. Real peace, not the slavery you offered." Thalen stared at him in confusion. "You could rule everything. Why do you not take what you can?" "Because ruling others is not freedom. It is just another form of slavery." The former speaker could not understand this concept. In his world, power meant domination. The strong took whatever they wanted from the weak. The idea that power could be used to protect rather than control was foreign to him. Dr. Suman Choi was already working on peaceful applications for humanity's military technology. The gravity manipulation systems could help terraform dead worlds. The antimatter reactors could provide clean energy for entire star systems. The advanced medical technology could cure diseases that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. "We are sharing our medical advances with all species," she announced to the galactic news networks. "Suffering should not be a tool of politics." This generosity confused many aliens. They expected human conquerors to hoard their technology and exploit their victory. Instead, humans were giving away scientific advances that could benefit everyone. Colonel Taehyun Yu coordinated with the resistance cells that had helped win the war. On dozens of worlds, former slaves were now free citizens. The hidden networks of human fighters had become the foundation of new democratic governments. "The people of New Harmony have elected their first free government in 50 years, he reported to General Shin. "They are requesting membership in the Terran Accords." "Approved," Shin replied. "Send them a diplomatic team and a defense fleet." This was how the new galactic order was born. Not through conquest and occupation, but through liberation and invitation. Worlds freed themselves from alien oppression and chose to join humanity's alliance. Engineer Hyejin Nam oversaw the conversion of military shipyards to civilian production. The massive industrial capacity that had built humanity's secret fleet was now producing hospitals, schools, and homes for liberated worlds. "The former Skrith slave colonies need infrastructure support," she reported. "Their alien masters never invested in civilian facilities." "How long to build them proper cities?" asked President Wu. 6 months for basic needs. 2 years for full development." The work of rebuilding was enormous, but humans approached it with the same determination they had shown in war. Across the galaxy, human engineers and doctors worked, alongside freed populations to create better lives for everyone. Meanwhile, the few remaining council species faced a choice. They could continue fighting and face complete destruction, or they could surrender and accept human terms. Most chose surrender. The Skrith Queen sent a formal message of capitulation. "We submit to human authority and beg for mercy." The Korthak's High Command followed soon after. "We acknowledge human supremacy and request terms for peace." But humans did not want submission or acknowledgement of supremacy. They wanted justice and cooperation. Ambassador Soo-Young Jeon addressed the galaxy from the rebuilt Nexus Station, which had become the headquarters of the Terran Accords. "We do not seek to rule you," she announced. "We seek to free you. Any species that respects the rights of others is welcome to join our alliance as equals." The Terran Accords grew rapidly. Within a year, over 200 species had joined. The alliance was built on principles the old council had never understood: freedom, equality, and mutual protection. Former council worlds were given a choice. They could join the Accords and accept democratic government, or they could remain. Independent, but under strict monitoring to prevent future aggression. Most chose to join. The benefits of alliance membership were obvious: advanced human technology, protection from external threats, and trade partnerships with hundreds of worlds, made membership attractive even to former enemies. The trial of former council leaders became a symbol of the new order. Speaker Thalen and other war criminals were judged by courts that included representatives from all the species they had oppressed. Justice was swift but fair. "You treated entire species as property," the chief judge told Thalen at his sentencing. "You will spend your remaining years helping to rebuild what you destroyed." Years later, Admiral Jin-Woo Park stood on the observation deck of New Harmony Station, watching ships from dozens of species working together in peaceful cooperation. The galaxy was not perfect, but it was free. A young officer approached him. "Admiral, why do you think we succeeded where the Council failed?" Jin-Woo smiled. "Because we understood something they never learned. True strength comes not from the power to destroy, but from the wisdom to protect. We did not become strong to rule others. We became strong to free them." The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Those who appeared weakest were sometimes the strongest. Those who spoke of peace were sometimes the most dangerous when their mercy was exhausted. And sometimes the greatest victory came not from conquest, but from liberation. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had freed it. And in doing so, they had created something better than any empire. A community of equals, protected by those strong enough to defend the weak, and wise enough to know when strength should be used.